Okay, guys, we'll start with the session. Uh, Guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Okay. So I think, and the screen is visible, everything, no problem with anything, right? So I can start the session.
Yes, you can.
Okay. Okay. Hi, guys. So I'm Ivan Monfi, and I'll be handling a Java session for today. Uh, Guys, you can hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Fine. So that's another attendee. I don't know if he's not responding. So, okay, guys. So I'll be starting with the session now. So, hi, I'm Ivan Monfi and I'll be handling Java session for today. So, let's talk about Java. The first thing is a basic introduction into Java. So Java is nothing but a purely object-oriented programming language. It is a programming language which is right now being used everywhere, be it for mobile, Android applications. All the applications that are using the Android OS have to be written in Java, and many of the other applications, web applications, everything at the base of it, Java is being used. So Java is an increasingly popular programming language, and it really helps to learn Java at this point. So Java was primarily developed by Sun Microsystems in 1991. And at the time of release, Java was a very slow language, but right now it is like one of the most powerful languages that we can find out there. And the most interesting thing about Java that you can come across is that it is a write once, run anywhere programming language. Like for instance, I'm writing my Java in my native PC or in my laptop, and I can use the compiler, and it can be once it is compiled to the language that the Java virtual machine can understand. I'll be talking about this later on in the other slides. Once that is done, they can be executed and run everywhere, independent of the platform that where it is being run. So yes, so Java is primarily platform independent. So this source code is nothing but the pure Java code that I will be writing in my IDE, or I can also use a notepad and compile it. So for this lesson, we'll be completely using our IDE. We'll look into the installation of all that later on. So am I being clear so far? Can you guys understand me so far?
Yes.
Okay, so the source code is nothing but the pure Java code that we are going to be writing. So this code will be compiled by the compiler. When I say compiled in the sense, it will check for errors, any errors that can stop your program from running properly. All these errors will be checked by the compiler, and if your code is error free, it will create a byte dot class file. So your source code is nothing but when you write your Java code and you save it, it gets saved as a .java file. So I'll show all that when we write our very first program in Java. So once we compile that, we'll find a .class file next to it. So this is nothing but the bytecode. So what is the bytecode? So Java programming is nothing but it is something that is written in English language. So we guys can understand English language. When we see something, we can understand it. But the computer does not know. All it can understand is zeros and ones. So the bytecode is nothing but the class file consists of nothing but zeros. So this is how the compiler or the Java code in English that is written is being translated into zeros and ones by the compiler. And this file is nothing but the dot class file. So the Java virtual machine is, this is also something that is inbuilt with Java. When we install Java, the Java virtual machine, the compiler, everything gets installed automatically in it. So this Java virtual machine will take this class file and will run our application. So this is how it works. So yes, so we have a source code. This source code is compiled and is created into a bytecode, which is nothing but the dot class file. This dot class file is platform independent. It can be run anywhere. So that will be run by the Java virtual machine. So is this clear so far?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. So let's talk about applications in general. So when we say applications, they are of two basic types. It can either be a standalone application or a web application. So in simpler terms, how I can say that is, I'll tell you guys an example. So web application, we would all be using the Facebook application, Instagram. Those are all very popular. But if you have a Facebook application installed in your mobile phone, but you do not have an active internet connection, it is of no use. You can open the application, but nothing will happen. It will just show you an error asking you to check your internet. Those are known as web applications. They are deployed in the web server. That is nothing but the application will rest on the server. It will not be resting on any local machine. It will be resting on the server. And they can be only be accessed using browsers. For example, if you're accessing them in our laptop, we'll be using browsers like Internet Explorer, Chrome, etc. But on the other hand, when we come to standalone application, it runs on the local machine. For example, let's say a calculator application. It is installed in our local machine. When we install the Windows operating system, it has the calculator application that comes built in it. So that does not need the internet. If you want to do some complex calculations, we just open the calculator and we do it and it's done. It can happen with or without the internet. So these are the two basic types of applications, and both these applications can be written using Java. So this is clear so far, right? Any doubts? Okay, I'll
Yeah,
take.
so for the web application, like
Yes.
what environment are you going to use? Like
This will be
which
using the
framework?
environment. We can use the same environment for both. We'll talk about that in the installation. We'll be installing the Java environment that is primarily needed to run the code. And both these can be written and run in the same thing. Okay, right?
But which framework we can use for the web application?
You can use Java, JVM, JRE, everything. In these itself, you can run both the applications. Yeah, you don't need to install anything in addition to it. So we'll be installing the Java framework with which we can run both web applications as well as standalone applications. So you don't have to worry about installing anything additionally. Okay.
Okay, so
So
what about Spring? Like, so what is Spring then?
Spring is a framework which you'll be primarily using for web applications. We'll be covering that later on. So this is
Okay, that was my question. Thank you.
okay. I get that. Okay. So we'll move on. We'll move on with the Java basic installation. So the installation consists of three simple steps. First thing, we'll be installing Java and we'll be setting up the environment variables and then the Eclipse IDE. We'll be looking into that later. So to install Java, you'll have to be installing Java from this given link, which is https://java.com/en/download. So I'll just walk you through the process. So I'm going to my browser. So that is it, https java.com, en is for English, and then downloads. This is the downloads page of the official Java website. So from that, let's click on free Java download. Java is free. It does not cost us anything to install and work in Java. So agree and start free download. Yes, so the setup, you can install the setup everywhere. I had already downloaded and installed it. So let's just do it again. In new folder, just download the exe file, which will help you through the installation process. It's just a very small file, occupies just KBs of memory. So you can do that. And once that is done, double click on the exe file, which is, yes. Do you want it? Give yes, go ahead with it. Like I said, it uses only 722 kilobyte of memory, so you need not worry about it. Yeah, system is opening it. System is just a little bit slow, so just let's just wait for the application file to open right now. Yes. So this is it so far. You'll get the welcome screen from official Oracle gives you the welcome screen. Here, when you click on install, like all of the applications, you are accepting the license agreement. So by default, Java gets installed in your program files folder, which is nothing but yes, this is where C program files and inside Java. Inside that, there's a folder called Java where it will be installed. So if you're not happy with it, you can click on this change destination folder, which will give you control over where it is being installed. But you can just leave it like that. By default, it's recommended to just let Java handle it. It will get default, by default, it will get installed within your program files folder. So let's click on install. Yes, so this is the installation process. So when you're installing, there'll be a lot of downloading that will be happening in the background. So make sure you have an active internet connection or the process will be a little bit slow. Okay guys, I think my connection has interrupted here. It's a little bit slow. So okay, so this is what happens. I have the screenshots here. This is the welcome screen that Oracle gives you. And if you give the option to change the destination folder, this what will happen. Java by default will show you the folder where it will likely install Java. If you want to change that, you can give on change and browse to whichever folder you want to install it and then click on next. So the Java installation process starts. And if you all,
What
yes,
I have a question.
yes, yes.
What if you have old version like 1.7 in your system already? So
Yes, yes, yes. That's exactly what I was coming to say. If you already have an older version installed, it will by default detect the older version and it will get updated and ask you to uninstall the older version. So that's how it says keeping the out-of-date Java version may present a security risk. So you just check on the older version and give an uninstall and that will get automatically installed and the updated newer version will get installed in its place. Or if you can also do that later on your own and just give remind me later. So is that okay? Okay, so this is the basic Java installation process. So if you can just Google for Java. This is the first link that Google will throw to you if you just Google Java. So you can just go to this link. This is the link that I had mentioned on the PowerPoint. So you can just go ahead with Java and install it. So any doubts in the installation of Java?
I'm good.
Okay. So I'll move ahead with the environment variables. Okay, so after installing Java, we need to set the environment variables. Only then the computer will know where you have located Java. So in order to do that, just go to my computer, this PC in my case. Just click on that and select system properties. And under system properties you can go to advanced system settings. So this is the common screen. The screen you can also get by right clicking on my computer and selecting properties. You will get the same screen again. Then under that you just select advanced system settings. Okay, and under that, under the advanced tab, you'll have various tabs here. Go under the advanced tab and find an option called environment variables. Okay, so this is the environment variables. So these are the default system variables and these are the user variables. You can have more than one user in your OS. So these are the user variables and you need a system variable with Java in it. So just check if you already have a Java system variable. If you don't have a Java system variable, it is always safer to add one. Else you might face problems later on while you're running Java. So just create a new system variable. Okay, here this is the option new variable. So I create a new variable. It will ask for the name and the path. So I'm creating a new variable. And let me give it a variable name. Say Java home. And the path here, this is the path where you have installed JDK. So if you remember the default folder where it was stored here, I would have mentioned here, C program files Java. Or if you had given an option to change the folder and install it in a custom folder, you should go to that folder. So let me just go to this folder. Yes. So once you have installed Java, these are the versions that you have. So let me just go to JDK and I'll copy the path. So C program files Java and within that JDK 1.81 or whatever version that you have installed. Let's just copy that and paste it under system properties and go. So that is it. Now we have created a new Java variable and it should be working fine. So is that okay or do you want me to repeat again the installation process or the environment variables? Okay, so I'll just move on with it. So after successful installation, you can check if everything has been installed properly by typing the Java version in the command. For example, just open the command prompt, go WinR, go to the run window and go CMD. This will open the command prompt for you. So in this, you will have to type Java space and then a hyphen, then a version. When you give this command, the command line will automatically tell you which version of Java you have installed in your program. So if you already have an older version of Java installed or if you already have a version of Java installed and if you don't know which version it is or if you want to update it, you can also use this to check. So let me just give here Java space hyphen version. So yeah, it is telling me the version name and all the other details, the build number and all. So this says that the installation of Java has been successful so far, and I can go ahead with the next process of installing Eclipse. So yes, Eclipse is what we will be using to run a Java program so far. So this is the website from which you will be downloading Eclipse. So let's just go here. Okay. So in this page, which is the official website for Eclipse, you will have loads of options here. Eclipse for PHP for Android. Under this, you will have to select Eclipse for Java EE developers. And based on your operating system, just make sure if you have a 32-bit or a 64-bit OS. So you can do that by again going to System Properties. So this time I'll just right click on it and go to properties. It will say if you have a 32, my system type is a 32-bit operating system. So make sure if yours is a 32-bit or a 62-bit, and based on that you can download. So just go download here. Okay. So this is the mirror, this is the download file. You can just give on download.
I have a question. I have Eclipse Luna one. So do I need that version or is it fine with that?
It is fine. You can just continue. Or it is recommended that you install the updated version, which is Neon. So if you want to go ahead with it, you can go ahead with it. So
Okay, I'll do it. Thank
yeah,
you.
you can just go ahead with it. So I'll just cancel the download right now because I already have it installed. So once this is a pretty big file, I think around 400 MB. So once Eclipse is installed, it will be stored in zip directory. So you can just go and unzip it and you can start using. There is no exe file or there is no installation guide that you will have to follow. You can just unzip it and you can start using from there. So okay, just go to so this is where Eclipse is stored in my PC. So we'll just click on and this you just have to double click it and you can start typing your code. By default there'll also be a shortcut that will be created by the installation wizard, so you can probably find the shortcut in your desktop. Yes, Eclipse shortcut, so you can just use it to open your Eclipse. So that is all the installation that is needed to write your first Java code. So any doubts on the installation so far? Do I have to repeat it? This is absolutely important that you follow these steps because it might throw an error later on. Set up the environmental variables just in case. Just make sure that we do not come across any other problems in the future. So I'll go ahead.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So let's just open Eclipse. Yeah, when you open Eclipse, it will ask you to select the workspace. So in my case, it is under users, Monfrey and workspace. This can be any location that you want in your computer, but you'll have to remember that every code that you do, every code will be saved under this workspace. So later you wanna go back to your code, and if you wanna check your code, you can just open the workspace and do whatever. So just make a note of this workspace. Or every time you launch your Eclipse, most of the times it will prompt you unless you give this option. Use this on default and do not ask me again. If you're sure about it, you can just give it and go. Or if you want to know where your workspace is, or if you're going to change it for every project that you do, then you can just leave it unchecked and go ahead with it. So let's just wait for it to open. Okay, so this is the basic workspace. So I'll just close this. They have a file. Yeah. So this is the Eclipse IDE. So you'll be having the workspace here where you'll be writing the code. This is the Explorer, which will show you the list of packages or yeah, the list of packages and classes that you have created. You can just use it to navigate and double click on it and open. So this is the console. This is where you will be getting all your output. So if the console is not being displayed, you can just go to Windows, and under Windows, just click on Show View and click on Console. So when you do that, the console will get displayed automatically. Make sure this is visible because this is where the output will be printed. So yes. So this is the workspace. This is about the workspace. So what is an IDE? We have installed Eclipse, which is nothing but an IDE. So when you want to write a Java code, you can also write Java code in Notepad. But in Notepad, you can type all the entire Java code that you want, and then you can go to your command line. And previously, we had used the command Java space hyphen version, and it gave out the version. So similarly, you have separate, completely different sets of commands that you can use to run your file, to compile your file. But the main problem with Notepad is it is just a basic text editor. It does not throw you any errors. It does not have any autofill that is tuned for Java. So that is usually not used, and Eclipse is the widely used IDE for Java. So IDE is nothing but an integrated development environment. So an integrated development environment is a software application that provides facilities to develop the program with ease. Like I said, if you make any spelling mistakes, automatically it will get underlined. If you make any simple errors in your code, it will get underlined and it will show you. It can autocomplete with Java codes for you. So an IDE can be used to build, develop and deploy. So you can develop your code in that, and it comes with an inbuilt compiler so you can run your code in that. And it also consists of automation tools which can be used when you want to deploy your application. So yes, an IDE basically consists of a code editor, a compiler, debugger, and automation tools. And the most commonly used IDEs for Java are Eclipse and NetBeans. Yes. So the code structure in Java. Like we said earlier on, Java is an object-oriented programming language. That is, everything in Java is written within a class. So whenever you're writing your code, at the outermost part of it, there will be a class. And within the class, you will have methods. Methods are nothing but blocks of code, and within these methods, you will be having your statements. So like I said, in Java, everything will go within a class. You cannot write any code outside the class. You will automatically get an error. You don't even have to compile your program. The IDE Eclipse will automatically give you an error. And these methods contain blocks of code which you can use to produce whatever the desired result that you want. So this is the basic code structure in Java. So you have classes, and within classes you'll be having methods, and within methods you'll be having statements. Yes. So let's just look at our first Java program. Yeah. So right now we are going to run our very first Java program. I'll tell you how that is done. So these are all the programs that I had already used in Compile. So it is just displaying all the list of programs in the package explorer. For example, the tree and then the list of classes that I have under it. So these are all the list that comes. So when you're creating your first project under file, click new. Yes, and you can do a number of things. Let's just click on Java project. So am I being clear so far, guys? Anything you want me to repeat or any doubts so far?
So what if you have a Java web application project? It is the same way to create a new project like Java project, or it has something else to create?
No, no, you can just create a Java project. So like we see, when you create a new, all these comes under packages, classes, information. So you can just create, this is all for testing your application. So you can just create a Java project and you can proceed with it. Okay.
Okay.
So let me just create a new Java project and I'm giving a project name. Let's just say my first Java project. Yes, so this is the default location where it will be stored. If you want to change the location, just uncheck this and go browse and you can select where this has to be stored. For right now, I want to use the default location. And this is the J2ee version that it shows. In case you have older versions installed, like you can say in my case, I have 1.6, 1.7, 1.8. If I want to use some other Java version, let's just stick with the advanced version 1.8 which we just installed right now in the previous process. So click on next. Yes, so this is the source file. Let's click on finish. Yes, so we have created our project. So this icon that you can see, a folder with a J by the side of it. This represents a Java project because when you open it, you'll see there are so many different icons within it. So just remember that the folder with a J on top is the Java project. So this is nothing but the source files. These are the source files and these are the inbuilt system files. The source file is empty because we have not done anything with it. We have just created a new empty Java project. So there's nothing in it. But if you look into the J2ee system library, like it says, it is the system library which automatically comes with your Java installation. So it has so many things, so many resources that is needed for you to run Java smoothly. So for now, we won't be worrying about the system library. So the source is where we will be writing our code. So let's just go to source. So like I said, in Java, everything comes under a class. So we'll be creating a class. But like you see, it's common programming practice to keep a class within package. For example, when you're creating a really big application, if you're writing a very simple application, then it might have just one simple Java class. But as your application gets bigger and bigger, you will be having sometimes even hundreds and thousands of classes. So those will be grouped and categorized under packages. Like for example, if we take our laptop, there are so many files in our laptop. There are so many pictures, music, sounds. So we are categorizing it in a folder called pictures. I'll be storing my pictures. So similarly, all these different classes will be grouped under different packages. So it is common practice in business to keep all classes under a package. So first let me create a package. Yes. So this is where my first Java project is the project name and under source this package will be created. So the name of the package will usually be the company name. For example, let's say I had already talked about Facebook. So let me say it's facebook.com. Then the name of the package will be the reverse of their website, which is nothing but com dot Facebook or something. So I'm going to do in my package, let's just say com dot Zeedup dot whatever name you want to give. So why are we using zeedup.com, facebook.com? Because these are unique. Like if you want to create a web address, you cannot create a web address if someone else is already having the same address. Web addresses have to be unique. So it is common programming practice to use the web address of the company to create the package. So let's just say com.zeedup.first program, or let me just say main program. Main, just main is enough. So com.zeedup.main. So I can, based on the category like that I'm using, like I said a simpler example like images and sounds. So similarly, this is going to be where my main class is stored. So I'm naming it as main. So let's just finish it up. Yes. So I have a project. Inside that I have the source files and now a package is created. Package in Eclipse is represented by the square with a plus sign across it. So now that I have created my package, let me just go ahead and create the class. So right click on package, right clicking on it, new, and selecting class. So when you come up with a class name, it is common practice to keep the first letter as a capital letter and the remaining can be small letters. So let's just say I'm creating hello world. Let's just say hello. And public is, yes, this shows the source file and under which package my class is being created, the name, which can be anything with common practices. It has to be related to what the class is doing. So that will be easier for you to know when you have a bunch of classes. You can easily identify what is how. If you want to navigate to one specific class, and if you had named it according to its functionality, it'll be easier for you to go to that class. This is really useful when you're creating a big application with loads of classes. So let it be public modifier. So clicking on finish. Yes. So the class name that I gave is automatically created here and the package name com.zeedup.main is already here. So this is the basic syntax of a class. Public is the access specifier, which is nothing but it says that this class is public. It can be accessed from anywhere within my application. So this is the class name that I'm giving. And this class is enclosed within opening and closing braces. So all the code that I'm going to write will be coming within these opening and closing braces. Any doubts so far in creating the first class?
I'm good.
Okay. So I'll just continue with it. One second. Yes. So my first Java program. Like I said before in my earlier file, we have created our first class. So after that, I have to create my first method. So only under method I can write the statements which I can use to run my program. So the class part is done. So we'll be creating a method. So in a program, I have one class and inside that I can have so many methods. So when the compiler is executing the code, it goes in a step-by-step manner. So how does it know where to start? It has to start somewhere. By default, Java searches for a method which is called main. It searches for the main method and this is where the program execution starts. You can write any number of code before it, but this is where the program execution will start. And when you're executing it, if there is no main method, your program will throw an error because it will say there's no main method found. How will I know where to start? So this is the syntax. So let me just try. Uh, Let me just explain this. Public is shows that this main method is public. It can be accessed everywhere. This static keyword, we'll be looking about more into it when we talk about classes and all the other object-oriented concepts. For now, let me just say static deals entirely with memory allocation. So when I declare a method as static, a certain amount of memory will be located for my main method and only one memory location will be called main. There cannot be more than one main memory allocation. Allocate one memory that is allocated for my main method. So I'm implying that can be only one memory allocation, no duplicate allocation for this. And void is nothing but it has no return type. So public, static, void, and main. Okay, guys, am I clear? Are you able to hear me clearly? So I'm getting a message. That's why I'm asking you. Guys, can you hear me? Guys, are you able to hear now? Audio connection restored.
Now I can hear you.
Yeah, yeah. There was just some problem with the internet connectivity, so the audio got cut off. So,
Okay, no problem.
okay, we'll go ahead with it now. So, okay, this is where I left off. So, public, static, void, main. These are the keywords that I write with main. And this is the argument that the main method takes. And within that, I can write any statements. But by default, the statements end in a semicolon. So most of the common statements that we'll be using in Java ends with a semicolon. So you will be looking into that more later on. Like there are only a few exceptions where the statement doesn't end with a semicolon. As we go on, we'll be knowing about it. So yes, main method is where the program starts running. So let me just go and type public static void main, and I'm giving it an argument. And every method should have an opening and closing braces before it. Like if you had observed here, yes, let me just say I'm deleting it. You can get all these X marks near my code. You just keep your mouse there and it says syntax error. It's asking me to insert the curly braces. So these are the advantage. Even these little advantages are what we have when we use an IDE. Because when you are using the notepad, you won't get any errors. You can just keep writing your code and then you can run it and it will throw an error. And then you'll have to go back and you'll have to manually check where the error is and you'll have to change it yourself. It can be as simple. For example, when I'm writing so many lines of code, I might miss a closing bracket. So when you have lines and lines of code going across each and every function and seeing if you had closed in every bracket would be a little bit difficult. So using an IDE will make things very easier for you. So our first program is going to be a hello world program, which is nothing but it will print the sentence hello world on the screen. So like I said, in Java, everything comes within a class. So the class is system. System is nothing but an inbuilt Java class, which already comes when you install Java. So you don't have to worry about what is inside the class. So and inside system, there is a method system.out.println. So these are all these inbuilt methods that you have. And I just want to point out one more feature here. So I'm giving out. Then when I press the dot, these are the tips that the IDE gives. These are all the number of methods that are present in the inbuilt Java out method. So you don't have to exactly remember. Like for example, if I'm using my notepad, I might not know if this println is comes with a small p or a capital letter P. So here it is much easier for you. You can just go println and whatever sentence you want to display in the output. It comes within a pair of opening and closing brackets. So you write an opening and closing brackets and inside that, let me just go hello world. So it can be anything. So let me just first give it as hello world. This is the simplest and the first Java program that we'll be doing. So far, like if I miss the semicolon, it comes with an error. So make sure that there are no such errors here. And once it is done, I'm going to compile my program. So just right click on this and give run as Java application. So this is the console that I was talking about earlier. So yes, this is where my output will be displayed. So hello world, whichever I gave here is being displayed here. So let's just say I'm changing it. It can be anything as long as it's within the opening and closing brackets. Java really doesn't care what you write. So I'm giving hello everyone, and I can do the same. Application. Yes, it automatically gets changed to everyone. I can just do some spelling mistake here. I won't get any spell check pointed out for me because this can be anything. The compiler automatically assumes that this is what you wanted to type. So this is the shortcut for run. You don't have to go right click it and give run as. So in Eclipse, you'll find this button. Just click on that and you'll get hello everyone. So any doubts so far, guys? We have completed our very first program. We have run our very first Java program. So any doubts, anything you want me to repeat?
I'm clear.
Okay, thank you. So let's just go on. So let me just give a gist about what we had so far. So I created my first Java project, and inside that, within my project, I'll have two subfolders, SRC and the system library. This is nothing but source. SRC stands for source. These source files is nothing but all the files that the user writes, and this is the system inbuilt files. And within the source file, I'm creating my package, which is nothing but you can knowing what these icons stand for will might be useful, but you don't have to explicitly know. As you keep writing programs, you will automatically come to know of it. So yes, this hello.java. So this is the source code that I was talking about. The source code has an extension .java. So once I've compiled my program, yes, the .java class file will get created automatically. So let me just show you that. Once. Let me just go to my workspace and show you the coding, which I had told earlier on. This is where it's going to get saved. This is why it helps to make a note of where your workspace is. I don't know where exactly my workspace is being stored. Let me just close this. Exit Eclipse. Yes. Yes. Okay. This is where my workspace is.
So if you want to check your workspace, do you need to exit your Eclipse?
It helps to if you have unchecked that the option that it showed, do not ask me every time. Then of course you would have to. It won't show you, so there is no use of exit.
Okay.
I think there's an
Okay.
option here under workspace which you can also use to go and check where your workspace is. Um, okay, we'll get to that later. So this is my workspace, which I have. So my first Java project is a Java project that I had created. And as you can see, this is the source folder that we found there. So I just want to show how it's being stored. So my first Java project. So this is the my first Java project. Under that, It is under source. So the source. These are all the files and folders that are created automatically by Eclipse. So these settings is a very vital. It contains the important default settings. So we need not go into all that and let it just be the default settings. So like I said, package name. Then I gave com.zeedup.main. So this dot that I gave will separate the folder names. So if I had given com1.zeedup, then here my name would have been com1. So like you can see, com inside that zeedup and inside that main. So this is how the folder structure is being. This is how the folder structure is allocated in your local machine. So inside that you'll be having your hello.java.
So, like if you have already have project, if you want to import the project in Eclipse, how can you do?
Yes, you can just go to file and I'm giving open.
Like, do we need to put the project in our workspace folder, or we can just directly import from the desktop? Or
No, you can just navigate to whichever, you can just browse to whichever folder that you want and you can just import it. It doesn't have to be in your workspace. And this Java, yes, yes, yes. It might be useful to know the location of your Hello World folder. So like I was saying, I can just edit it with my notepad also. I can just open it with my notepad. And this is how, if you're using notepad to write the Java code, this is how it will be. So I would be having to write the entire thing on our own and make sure that there are no errors, because even if there are errors, there's going to be no default prompt for me, and make sure that the class name is the same as the file name. So if there is any error, then if there's any changes in your class name and the file name, then the program would not run. So I even the cases, capital H, small h, all this matters when you're saving it. So I'll give the class name hello.java, and this is how I do. But we don't have to worry about that all that now, because Eclipse is automatically do it for us. Like when you just right click and give new class, and when you give the class name, this automatically it'll how that's how it's gonna get named. Your class name here will be hello, and even here it's gonna be hello. So using an IDE makes many things easier for us. So yes, you can, if you want to share your code with someone, you can just send this file, and you can also like open it with notepad and copy paste it to wherever you want to paste it. This is just a little bit essential. It's not essential to know that. It might be useful along the way. So that's it. So yeah, we have successfully run our first Java program. So keywords and variables, we look into keywords and variables and all the control structures, using if statement, if else, while, for loops and everything we'll be looking into our next class. So any doubts so far?
I'm good.
Okay, so
So, can you send us like syllables of Java? What would
yes,
be?
yes. I'll be sending you the syllabus, and the session is also being recorded. So I'll be saving a recording of this session, and I'll upload all this to Google Drive, and I'll be sharing the link with you guys. I'll put the link in the WhatsApp group. So you guys need the PowerPoint presentation, or
Yeah, sure. If you can.
okay, okay. So I'll just add the PowerPoint presentation and the video of this file. And I'll also be sharing my mail ID with you guys, my Gmail ID. So if there's any doubts, if you get stuck up on the installation process or anything, you can reach out to me my mail. And also I might ask you guys to try something on your own when you have some free time. So if you run into something, some problems with your assignments, you can get back to me. It's just very, very simple things here and there. Just
Okay, can you explain me what it shows under the outline on right side, like under hello main string? So,
Outline, I don't get you. Come again?
On Eclipse, here on right side.
Here, you mean here under the task list?
Yeah, there is a hollow under the main string under the hollow.
This main string under hello?
Yeah,
This outline that you're talking about.
yes, yes.
Okay, so this is just these are not essential. If you even feel that you need bigger space for you to write your code, this is not something that will be essentially using right now. This just shows the outline of your program. Like for example, this is my package, and under this package, I have a class called hello, and within my hello, I have a method. For example, if I'm gonna include some other method here, so my method here is called main, so it shows main. If I have,
Okay, so outline
yes,
shows
yes, so
classes and methods. Yes.
yes, an outline. If I have another method, I'll get it below. If I have another class in my package, it will show that below. So,
Okay.
okay. So, okay,
And I
guys.
have one more question. Right now we are just learning basic core Java, right?
Yes, yes, yes,
So, like, if you go to the interview and like if
yes.
they ask for any coding or something, so do they give their system or how does it work?
Uh,
Or they have already inbuilt like a project and they just say, okay, do this program in our system.
when you go for interviews, they will be having a separate a different environment, but all these will be the same. So it's based on the company that you're going into. So there are very few companies will in like they when you're giving your programming assignment, it will be in an IDE. There will be some IDE for you to use in most of the cases. So it might not necessarily be Eclipse, it might be some other thing that runs on the server, but you don't have to remember each and everything. Like just this system comes under capital. So most of like sometimes during interview, when you're having a technical interview session, that is going to be a face to face conversation. So that time they will just give you a piece of paper and ask you to write the code. So when they're doing that, they'll only look into how you're thinking and how you're approaching the problem. So at that time, if they see that I have written a small s for system.out.println, they won't give much weightage to it because you like most of the people are using.
Because yeah, one of my friends, sorry,
I can't hear you. Come.
one of my friend like in US, she gave one of my friend,
Okay.
she's here in US, and she gave an interview and they asked, like they gave her a system and it has, like it had already a project and
Yes.
they gave her
Yes.
like a create form or something like that and like she
Okay.
wasn't familiar with that.
She wasn't
Yeah,
familiar
so
with that. So when you start the test.
no, she was also new, so
Okay, okay, okay. So the interviews that I have heard about so far, they will be having a small, they might also have a test for the IDE. So it will not be the main program. So for example, if this link that I had shared, there was a small link downstairs at the end of the message which said like, if you're using it for the first time, go to this link and do a test meeting. So usually before starting your program, there
okay.
might be a test link also. So with that will give you a tutorial of how the IDE works. So yeah, like may when but
Actually, they didn't do that thing.
okay,
They just gave her a system and like it had a folders and everything as she told me that. So
okay,
that's why I'm asking.
okay, okay, fine, fine, fine. Okay. So when you go for interviews, the object-oriented concepts, they'll ask you about classes and methods and all. Those concepts will be covering later in our classes. Okay. So we'll wrap it up for now. Session is over. So
Mhm.
I'll share every detail to you. I mean, everything, all the links to you on the WhatsApp group.
Okay, yeah, sure. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Yeah. Have a nice day.